Before we start today, and we'll begin in Psalm 57 this week, just wanted to again tell you how grateful I am for all of you who contact me via email or the comments, or give me a thumbs up on the videos, or support the ministry financially. It's important to me, not only just for financial reasons, but it shows me that I'm meeting a spiritual need among you. I'm helping you spiritually. God's principle for giving during the church age is you give materially where you're blessed spiritually. And just the fact that I receive financial support from some of you is just a sign to me that the Lord has moved in you to respond to the spiritual help you're getting. If you'd like to support the ministry financially, certainly be appreciated. And you can follow the link below to my website where you can give electronically. If you'd like to send a regular check, just email me and I'll tell you where to send that. Also, you can help as well. I know not everyone can support financially, but you can also help prayerfully. So you can pray for me to be encouraged and to be sustained in this ministry and other ministries I'm involved in. And you can also give me a thumbs up on the videos. The YouTube algorithms use the thumbs up and the number of comments in order to make this available to more and more people. So the more you comment, the more you give a thumbs up, the more visible these videos become. And over the years, we've grown slowly but steadily. So I appreciate that. That's how you guys can help as well, is give me a thumbs up or comment, and we'll continue to grow. Back to the Psalm, though, where we're at this year, Psalm 57 today, as we head into a new week. You scroll down just a little bit so you can see that, Psalm 57. Continue with these prayers of David, El Teshbeth, that's in the front there is again a musical note. Literally, it means do not destroy. And it's probably, again, a tune or a melody that this psalm was set to. Remember, these psalms are not just private prayers of David, they are that. But more than that, they are offered as part of the worship of Israel to give Israel a pattern for prayer. And that's how we use them as well in the church today. So that'd be our application of it. This was when David fled from Saul in the cave. Well, it's interesting. It gives us this historical context for it so we can maybe understand what David was experiencing. Two situations, one in 1 Samuel 22, where David is fleeing from Saul and took refuge in a cave. The other is in Psalm 24:3, a little bit humorous, I guess, but Saul has gone into a cave to go to the bathroom. And David sneaks in there while Saul is taking care of business. And my recollection is he cuts off a piece of his robe, and as a testimony to the fact that he could have cut off Saul in that very vulnerable moment. So again, Saul is on the run, or David's on the run from Saul, and another resolve of David to continue to trust in the Lord. My outline here, verses 1 through 3, are David's prayer. So keep track of that as you go through it. It helps you understand what's going on. Verses 4 through 6, David talks about his predicament. And we'll find our here verse there, verse 4. And then finally, we end again in David's praise in verses 7 to 11. So again, I pointed it out before, this recurring pattern in prayer. David comes to the Lord, David confesses what's going on, and then David, after finding comfort from the Lord, praises him. Good example of prayer for us. Let's look closely at verse 4, our here verse. Here, of course, is an acronym. Start with highlight and explain it. Sometimes the enemies of God's servants are called dogs in the Bible. By the way, if you're a dog lover, we have a dog in my home. I'm not particularly a dog lover, but let me just point out that the Bible never says anything good about dogs. But so if you're a dog lover, keep that in mind. Don't get rid of your dog. Don't get me wrong, just pointing it out. But sometimes the enemies of God's servants are called dogs. Other times they're called lions, like we see it here. Here, David says, "My soul," he's talking about his innermost being. He's not making a kind of a dichotomy between flesh and spirit here, but he's saying the inner part of me is exposed to these lions. And one commentator pointed out that lions are strong and cruel and crafty. David says here, they breathe forth fire. Their teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue a sharp sword. These are all telling us that these are powerful, hurtful, even terrifying enemies that David is among. Pause for thought there, that we live in a very difficult world, don't we? We see here in the United States that certainly the attitude toward Christians is changing. Complete ridicule. This past week, I noticed a article about a prominent football player having the temerity at a commencement speech to talk about the opposition to abortion and affirming women who want to stay home and raise their children. And it caused quite an uproar. One, actually a politically liberal commentator, defended him by saying, what law was broken? In other words, what we see is here in the United States, we see a lot of opposition to Christian values, but they're not yet illegal. Not so in other places of the world. To confess Christ as Savior and Lord is to call down judgment of the state on you, especially in Muslim countries. That's what David is facing, something like that here. His enemies, he says, breathe forth fire. Teeth are spears and arrows. Their tongue is a sharp sword. David and Daniel, as we look through the book, conquered real lions. 1 Samuel 17 and Daniel chapter 6. Jesus himself conquered enemies who behaved like lions. We saw that in Psalm 22, verses 13 and 21. And even Paul was rescued from opponents that were like lions in 2 Timothy 4, 17 and 18. As we've seen, whenever you're trying to be obedient to the Lord, you're going to arouse the opposition of those around us. And ultimately, behind that opposition is the devil himself. 1 Peter 5, 8 to 10 tells us that the devil is wandering around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. And he works through ungodly people most of the time. But even if it's the devil himself that's after you, you're called to resist. You're called to toughen up, to put it bluntly. Your first line of defense against lions that are coming against you is to turn to the Lord in prayer. That's what we're learning here. This is how we can apply this. This is how we can respond. Perhaps you're in the battle. If not, perhaps the battle it's time to prepare for the battle as you resolve to follow Christ more closely. But prepare for the battle now or engage in the battle. Be strong. Your enemy is strong, cruel, and crafty. You need to be strong. You need to be as clever as a dove among serpents. And you need to be careful because you have a crafty foe. So, my suggestion to you and my prayer for you today, brothers and sisters, is to go back to verses 1 and 2 and make that your prayer for today. Turn that into your personal prayer. Not so much David saying, "Be gracious to me, O God, be gracious to me," but you pleading out that God be gracious to you, that God be gracious to myself, to Dan, be gracious to me, O Lord. Make that your prayer, that I take refuge in you. So God bless you, brothers and sisters. If you're in the battle, equip yourself. If you're not in the battle, you will be if you're going to be following the Lord, so prepare yourself. God bless you, and I'll see you in Psalm, what are we at right now? 57. So I'll see you in Psalm 58. God bless you.